catch me howling at the moon.
Happy, what's today, Wednesday? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, happy Wednesday. Middle of the week. It's been busy.
Yeah, what have you been up to this week?
Well, this week I had an allergic reaction. My face had swollen up and my eyes. I'm not sure what it was, but then it went down. I took some Congesaway that I had from Wise Women Botanicals in Missouri. So I put it on, and it started to go down. So it started to feel better.
Yeah.
So
you don't know what it was that caused that?
No.
That's scary.
I might have been by something, but I was thinking to myself, maybe I needed the EpiPen in case it happened again.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you should maybe get some allergy testing done, Yeah,
because it just came out the blue, actually. It really.
Yeah. Oh, that's scary. I mean, I think that's always been... What'd you say?
How was your weekend during this COVID?
Oh, good. I mean, we had Love and Lunches on Sunday, and that takes, from 6 a.m. to like 1 p.m. So by that time, I kind of crashed, and we just moved to a place with a yard. So we've been doing yard work. And on Saturday, I just made this huge long list thinking we would have this very nicely manicured yard by the time we were done, working 8 hours, and we only got one thing done. And I was just, can anybody even tell? We worked so hard. So yeah, it was good to be outside, but
I do the same thing. I get so many projects going on, and then I start one, and then I go to the next. And then before you know it, you start at 3, and then none of them get done.
Yep, I can definitely recognize that. I'll go grab something out of a room, see something, do that, which leads me to another room. And by the time the original thing never got done, it just wasn't even close to being done. So I can appreciate the distraction. Where are you from originally, Patrick?
I'm from Lancaster, Virginia. Small town near Gloucester, Virginia.
Still no idea where is that.
I know it's the northern neck, actually. It's maybe 2 hours from Newport News. It's close to where Chris Brown is from.
Oh, okay.
Nothing really there too much, but
is it the west side of the state?
No, northern neck. The northern neck of Virginia. It's right there.
What is that? I'm going to sound really dumb, but I thought the northern neck was Manassas, Gainesville, Front Royal.
No, northern neck is Kilmarnock.
I'm going to have to Google that.
Lancaster, Wings. That's where I'm from.
So is it north actually, though? Here's where it is. Where in regards to DC? How far south is it?
You're going to go past Richmond. You're going to go past Richmond, past New Kent in that area. But then you're going,
Oh, so you guys have a naming problem down there? Northern neck would mean, to me, the northern part of this. But now I get where you are. That is deep down in there. How did you end up in Baltimore?
Well, I had friends in DC. I originally moved to DC in 2009. It was when I had got a driving with a marijuana charge over there in Fairfax, actually. And so I moved here then, and I got into the hotel business and things like that, and I liked it. And then recently, last year, I moved to Baltimore. But my family is originally from Baltimore. My mom, aunt, and my grandfather, they're all from here. So we just had a family reunion in September at Drew Hill Park. So.
Oh, nice. That is literally right around the corner from where I live.
Really?
What? Mm-hmm. So wait, you said you had a driving with cannabis charge?
I did.
Yeah. How did that happen?
I was driving from Richmond, and it was around 2009 that I found out I had PTSD.
Yeah.
And so when I was driving from Richmond, I went into a store actually to get blunts. And
I know that, Joe.
yeah, I went to get blunts. And at the time, I was drinking Steel Reserve. You know, I didn't drink a lot, but you know, when I had a beer, I had the beer that kind of got you there quick.
Yeah.
Steel Reserve, and I walked out. And at the time, I drove a Lincoln. It was a Lincoln Town car, a car that older people would tend to drive, or what the police call drug dealers would drive or something. So soon as I pulled out of the gas station, police officer pulled me over. And then here comes the dogs. Here comes the other officers. It was like 6 of them for just little old me. And so they gave me an option at the time to either tell them where I got it from, or face the consequences or whatnot. They wanted me to stand on a corner at a 7-Eleven and try to solicit people to give me drugs.
Wait, you were like the decoy to like...
No, this is what they offered me right there when they pulled me over.
Oh, to be the decoy.
Either I could do this or, I could go to jail or have to And so I chose to just, suffer the consequences. So I had to go through the driving classes, the, probation, court, all of that. Yeah, I had to do it all because I didn't feel comfortable doing that in my own community, neighborhood.
Hell no. You would immediately have been seen as a snitch. Like, I would, like, in my head, I was like, no. But
also, I had just watched Dateline, and there was this all-American young Caucasian girl whom they did the same thing to. And they sent her into the lion's den, I call it, and they couldn't save her. So why would I go and do that,
Yeah.
When, come on now.
Yeah, that's kind of... Did it end up in a charge for you that affected you? I just had Aisha Epps on, and she was talking about how a charge at 18 really, she could only ever work at restaurants. And so did you have like a similar experience where that charge affected you getting jobs or other parts of your life?
It did to a certain extent. When that happened to me, I kind of, actually I knew at an early age that I had a gift as far as customer service and just understanding people and having that compassion and empathy. So when I got into the hotel business when I was like 16, I knew that I wanted to be the best. Yeah. I wanted to be the best at customer service, and I wanted to be able to go anywhere and be able to land a job. And so what happened was, when this happened, I just focused my attention in what I was good at. And so I went to hotel jobs because I knew that their background checks wasn't that extensive. Yeah. But also they would utilize me and my customer service skills. Yeah. So that's what kind of kept me afloat with that charge. Because some of the hotels just looked at it and they were like, okay, it's a cannabis charge, whatever. And kind of just, but you have to have a skill to back that up. And I was fortunate to go to First Colonial in Virginia Beach and get a job at one of the hotels there at the Best Western when I was like 15. And so that kind of catapulted me into the hotel business and being, one of the best, I would say.
Oh, I can tell. So I came from property management, which is just like hotels, except they stay for a year or more. And so, especially as like more high-end establishments came in this kind of all-inclusive living, you could just tell the people who it made them feel good to make others feel good. Like there's this pride in, I was a corporate trainer for the Bizzuto group. And, you know, it was something that we taught was like the signature statement about you. Like, what's the thing that they'd be like, oh, that's so Jill. Like, she does that with everybody. And I think like when you meet people that, and I saw you smile when I said that, like when you meet people who love to give customer service, it's like mind blowing. Have you ever researched, and this is from a long time ago, so I took this training probably when I was like 25, so almost 20 years ago, but it was the Ritz-Carlton's.
Yeah,
like,
I always thought
customer
you were on 25, see?
Yeah, nope, 42. But it was, and I appreciate that compliment. It was their like customer service training, and they kind of outlined how they just wowed customers. And it was just interesting to see, like, once they explained it, it wasn't just policies they put into place. The people they hired lived those things. They wanted someone to walk away and being like, wow. And so like the best trick that I'd ever seen that they do is, you know, you arrive and the bellmen take your bags, right? And so they look at the bags, they have their like arrival list, and they check the names on the bags to see if any of them match. And then they called the front desk and said, you know, oh, Miss Franquelli's on her way in. Here's what she looks like. So as I round the corner, the front desk person comes around and is like, Miss Franquelli, we're so happy to have you. And I didn't know they did that. And I was just like,
that's amazing.
I knew I was famous. Like, I don't know how you know who I am, but that's awesome.
Right. But it makes you feel special. You know, after a hard day of work or maybe traveling, and then someone calls you by your name and say, hey, welcome. You know, a simple, kind gesture. And then in the hotel business, I always try to look at the person as they were coming in. And if someone had on a bracelet or a ring or some earrings that may be special to them, and most people when they go on trips, they wear their special earrings or their lucky watch or something like that. But I would pick that out and I would compliment that. Yeah. I would compliment that, and that's where we get the conversation going. Yeah. And that will open up getting to know them, and while they're staying with us, I could talk to them on a more personal level, because if you regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again, it seems inauthentic. And so that's what I learned too, to just kind of cater to the specifics in that particular guest. And that takes work, because you have to want to understand your guests, want to know them. So that's what I tend to do. That's what makes the customer service part so rewarding for me, because I learn a lot. Yeah. You know.
I mean, it is, and maybe it's because I taught it for so long. And I mean, when it's great customer service, it's never because, oh, they gave me $1 million. It's because it was the littlest nuanced thing that they did. And because it just made, I mean, I went to the same Starbucks in South Baltimore every morning and literally developed an addiction to Starbucks, because that team at that Starbucks made me feel amazing. They became part of my life. So every morning they asked me questions, and it's even what I hope one day, like dispensaries and like consumption lounges will kind of be like my brother said, in the perfect world, at the end of the day, if you wanted to go to happy hour, you had the choice to go to a bar, or you would go to your dispensary, you'd pull up their happy hour menu, and you could sit there and like talk with people and have that level. And I'm like, that would be great.
I like going to happy hours, because it's people after work, and they're anxious to, you know, talk about work or something that happened. Because before, a couple of years ago, I didn't travel a lot. I was scared to get on airplanes, so I would rely on those conversations that I would have with other people to kind of broaden my horizons about what's going on in the world, or places, beautiful places that I had never been to. So it was always a learning experience for me. I love talking with people. I do. Yeah.
To close that loop, now I know where I totally went off. Like that same feeling at dispensaries, right? Like
Yeah.
They meet you, they understand you, they learn you, you have conversations, you pick up where you left off, and it's such like just a good feeling about your purchase. Like everyone wants to feel good when they spend their money. Absolutely.
But when you get that extra touch, that is what seals the deal. So often when I go to dispensaries, I feel like when I go to one particular dispensary, they know that I love a hybrid. And so I'll just tell them, hey, I just want the hybrid. And they will go pick out what they think is best, just based on what I've been coming in to get. So I love it. Yeah. And so they'll tell me when they have new strains in, new hybrids, and it works. It works. Because sometimes I'm not thinking about it. I just want to go there. I want them to help me, and they do. And so a lot of people are like that, So that's a special skill too.
They do. And I mean, I think it's such an anxious experience. Like the first time you go into a dispensary, it is a little like look over your shoulder, like, wait,
like you're doing something wrong.
Is this it? Like, and I still sometimes new places get a little like, it's like meeting the new plug. You're just kind of like, you have a little anxiety. Like, are they going to like me? Like, is this going to continue?
Are they going to do you right?
Exactly. So it's all the same feelings, just over and over and over again. Talk to me, like, how did you find out that cannabis was helping your PTSD? And I like, cannabis works for everyone a little bit different. So like, what does it do for you and your symptoms, and kind of like a little detail as what helps you so it can help others. So for example, my anxiety, we've come to realize is probably more triggered by depression. And so I used to stay away from sativas until I was introduced to G6, which I absolutely love that strain. And despite it being a sativa hybrid, doesn't cause me anxiety and makes me feel better. And so that's just like a bit of information that's anecdotal. And so I would like to hear how it works for you so that others could learn too.
Well, with me, I love a hybrid because it kind of keeps me in the middle. I like Blue Dream, which is a sativa, because it allows me to be upbeat during the day. It gives me an extra pep, makes me social because I have social anxiety. So it helps me to mix and mingle during the day. When I first, like everyone else, I was young and I was smoking just to, be smoking with everyone. And I just knew that it kind of made me feel like a calmness. But at times I would get a different, whatever it was, and it would cause me to have anxiety. In 2012, I got diagnosed with bipolar depression as well.
What was the bipolar what?
Bipolar and depression.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and depression was the second.
And depression. Sorry, I put it together.
No worries.
But, I was diagnosed, and so they put me on like a lot of different medications, trazodone, a medication to sleep, a medication to wake up, a medication to stabilize my mood, a medication to help stabilize with the other medications. And I was a zombie. I was sitting in front of the TV for like hours watching Telemundo. My sister would come in and be like, "What are you watching?" And I wouldn't even be able to tell her what I was watching because I didn't know. They were speaking in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. So I started to smoke a little bit more and just kind of get off of the medications. But I would have different times where I would get depressed and I would feel like I would need to get back on the medication. But it wasn't until I started working in the cannabis industry a couple of years back that I learned to educate myself on the strains, on the terpenes, and learn actually would work for me. And so once I did that, I still am learning what works. I haven't tried all of the cannabis
Yeah.
that I've been working so much, but hybrid generally gets me where I need to be.
Yeah.
I like indica when it's time to go to sleep. But yeah, it's taken some time to kind of get to understand the way cannabis works with the depression, the PTSD, the bipolar. But it doesn't come without work. So not only do I use the cannabis, but I have to educate myself on what my triggers are. And it's an everyday
It's very
process.
true.
You have to surround yourself with positive people, things that don't trigger you. You have to, have counseling or at least someone to talk to outside of yourself.
Correct.
And so that goes along with the cannabis.
Yeah.
And so I'm still learning. And I'm learning through patients. I'm learning through other community members that use cannabis, and just how to deal with, the mental health issues that I have and millions of Americans have. So it's an everyday struggle, and we're still learning. I'm still learning. So.
Oh yeah, and just it's exacerbated by a global pandemic and the overall state of the United States. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest challenge for, and I say this all the time, somebody new to cannabis is to commit to the amount of work that it takes to find out what works for you. Absolutely. And just overall in mental health, like if you do the things, and here's the bad part of it is mental health, sometimes you can't do the things. But man, if I'm able to work out, eat well, have a moment of gratitude in the morning, say these 30 affirmations, read a little, meditate, have a blunt, I'm better. But,
giving back really.
Oh, yes.
Helps with the depression. Because when you're doing things for others, it tends to make you feel good. But you have to be careful about, you have to take care of yourself too. Yeah. And that's where sometimes I fall short and I forget, hey, sometimes you got to take that cape off and you got to take care of yourself. And so I think that's my biggest problem that I have now that I'm working on is how to manage everything, but not forget about myself. Yeah. Because I too have, needs that I have to make sure that are met as well. So as far as keeping counseling appointments, making sure that I'm seeing my doctors regularly, and making sure that because I'm almost 40 now, so I have to make sure that every part of me is working so that I can continue my work in this industry.
Oh, so yeah. Health is
now too.
Health is the most important thing. Like money doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Because if you don't have health, you're not doing any of it. And, so we're close to the same age. And, to tell like younger people, you can either take care of yourself when you're young, where, it takes some time. It takes some effort. It does. However, when I started to get healthy at age 38, the time, the effort, and the damage that was done because of it, right? So now, you think you're invincible. Yeah, things you did when you were younger do affect your health when you're older. Everything okay? Oh, you dropped your water.
I almost dropped my water.
Oh, that would have been...
Because I have my makeshift office here. It's my living room, but it's also my office. So.
If I were to swing this around, you would just see nothing but moving boxes. This is literally the one spot where it looks good right now.
TV bar.
I think it's been such a silver lining of COVID has been the ability to connect with people inside their homes. Like, I don't know, I feel a little more personal when we're in each other's homes, and I don't know, maybe it's like a weird way to look at it. But so in cannabis, when did you start in Maryland cannabis?
Started in 2017.
Okay.
I was driving from Virginia Beach because at the time I had like a cleaning business and I was doing some bartending. And I looked on Craigslist because I was just, perusing. I saw this cannabis plant. And so there was a job posting for a receptionist. And so I answered it, drove from Virginia Beach to the interview while I was kind of having an asthma attack, did the interview, got the job, went to the hospital, called the lady, Karen, and was like, "Did you tell me I had the job?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then I started in history.
You're like, I'm so dedicated. I almost died during that interview and don't remember the results.
Absolutely. But
yeah, Patrick, it sounds like you may have allergies. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I do. Since I was 8, I would have these sneezing fits.
Yeah.
So if I went to school and I start sneezing, the nurses, the teachers, they would call my mom. She would have to come get me because I would sneeze like 7 in a row. Then like maybe a minute would go by, and then I'd start sneezing again. And then eventually I would like pass out because my body was just like
no more sneezes.
Yeah, just please stop sneezing. So.
I mean, I think I've only done like 9 sneezes in a row ever once, and it was like real dusty.
I tell you, I be going on and on.
Yeah.
And on until finally
maybe you need an EpiPen, just in case. Just in case.
But the other day was the first time that my face just swelled up like it did. It was crazy.
I mean, my
really
friend
crazy.
had that. One day she was eating avocados, and the next day she was in the ER. Like, and I may be remembering it wrong, but like I think the explanation to her was like body chemistries change. You could have always had like a slight sensitivity, but you've just constantly inundated your body with like avocado, and then one day it just is like no more and freaks out. But I don't know. It was insane to see someone who was like, am I having an allergic reaction to guacamole? I had guacamole yesterday and every day before it. So yeah, just be careful. So tell me what you're doing now in cannabis.
So now me and my partner, we're doing Anteedote X Consulting. So we connect patients with physicians, education, CBD, or whatever feels good to my soul. Like I'm about to put a connection to your podcast on my website. Whatever feels good that feeds my soul, I want them to have access to as well. So there's a couple of like Wise Women Botanicals is on there. Indie Eatery from Missouri is on there. And I'm gonna put some more on there, but we want the website to be a place of education, a place of comfort. We want to be able to connect other people with products, patients, doctors, whomever want to come to the website that needs our assistance, whether it's help registration, help connecting with a doctor to get their medical marijuana card. Even we'll go out to people who can't get, to the MMCC, like can't drive. Like there's a lot of places in Maryland that you can hardly get out of. So we'll go help patients register. We try to help people who can't afford it as well, because like we're some of the people who are struggling right now as well. So we understand that it's a difficult time right now. So if you can't afford to get your medical marijuana card, we will, help you. We don't want to turn anybody away because this is an important service. It's been important for me. It's helped with my anxiety. It just helped with a lot, especially people with cancer and veterans with PTSD. My mom died of breast cancer, so that's really dear to me. So if you look, you'll see a lot of my flyers right now are pink. in honor of my mom. That's the real reason why I got into the cannabis industry. I was so angry once I got into the cannabis industry and learned about CBD and THC and how it affects cancer cells. I was so angry that we don't have access to it like we should.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. I mean, I feel that my mom died because of addiction to opioids, and man, she would have been better off consuming cannabis. Man, if I would have just known, like, I would have immediately got it for her. Like, and so it's, I think the first time I heard the story of someone who conquered addiction using cannabis, I was like, this is it. Like, this is the answer to it, because it's such a, especially I think like opioids, it's such a hard addiction to overcome, and it destroys you. I mean, I was like, I would have 30 blunts. I would have you smoke them 30 blunts a day rather than take a handful or 2 or 3 oxycodone. Like, it's just
that's the one thing that scares me is the pain medicine. I've seen so many people get addicted to pain medications, and they rely on it. I have a cousin that's been on it for years, and the thing about it is it's like they give them to you in such mass quantities when they could just give you CBD and maybe some Tylenol. When I broke my ankle in 2 places, they gave me so much pain medications. I still have some that I'm just going to drop off at the Walgreens or something. Yeah. But I didn't want to take it. And I told them, I said, I'm fine with the CBD and the cannabis. That'll work for me. And I'll continue to do that. And I don't want the pain medications. They were like, well, you should take it. No, thank you. I'm fine. Then they were like, well, you shouldn't smoke weed. Well, that's your opinion. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you keep your pills. Keep those.
It was, so my mom's demise was fentanyl. And so it was early 2000s when, and I don't know, she was right in the middle of when pill mills were coming out. So, just a victim of that. And I just, every day I'd think to myself, it was so much easier for someone. And when I had my shoulder surgery this last October 2019, I was amazed at what they would give me if I just asked for it. There's no questions to do you think that's too much? No, granted, I'm very aware because of my mom. They did a nerve block, and I just so that I wouldn't feel any pain in my shoulders. They were doing the surgery, and when they went to inject the medicine into the nerve block, I saw the vial and it was fentanyl. And as they inserted it, I had a panic attack because I had never had it before. And that was the medicine. That was the drug. That
it was horrible. It would kill you.
Oh yeah. I was, the video of me was insane. I have never been so high, and immediately started to vomit. And I was like, God, to be addicted to this must be miserable. And so there is something that can fix that for people. And it's not the end all be all, because sometimes you will have to take pain pills, but that everyday pain that people who have trauma, who've been, run through the worst of what life has to have, the things, the fibromyalgia, the connective tissue diseases, CBD and THC all day long, they'll be fine. It'll make life better for them. And I fight hard for that.
She has fibromyalgia. She just found out, actually. But she uses CBD and cannabis to kind of, combat that. So, they try to give her the pain pills too. So.
Yeah, you have to be, and I mean, they know, and they're all on board with it. And so I'm lucky that like that surgeon was cool with me being open about that so that so it could be part of like the entire plan that they did.
Right.
I would hope that that's what happens, that like at a point, businesses and organizations like yours now are also like synergistic with is it Western medicine? Yeah, Western medicine, that like they're looking at all angles of this and saying, you know, we think immediately after this, you should do this, but as you go, we're going to increase your THC levels or something like that.
Yeah, and that's what needs to happen. They need to kind of get off this. It's a money thing. It's a money thing with the big pharma, but they're playing with people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to kind of change that and just say no. We don't want it. I was in the hospital a month before my mom died. I was in the hospital for like a week, and they had me on a morphine drip. But I couldn't tell my mom I was in the hospital because she was dying of cancer, and I didn't want her to worry. But I had to force them to take me off of the morphine drip because it gave me a headache. And then morphine can be addictive too. But I had to fight with them to like take me off of it and just give me like Motrin or something. Just give me something. Let me go outside and smoke a blunt or you know. And I did sneak outside a couple of times to kind of just smoke a blunt because I know what that does, and I know my family history that I didn't want to do the pain pills at all.
No.
But I stay away from it.
Yeah.
And if I can help it, I don't take it. I'll take a BC powder or something like that, or aspirin, and then I'll smoke. But I'll get an indica to make sure that I'm more sedated. And that works for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like, I think we need to become much more like flexible as people dabbling in all kinds of medicines. I think that's how we just are going to become healthy. It's all those things. Like me, and I'm sure you've experienced this and have seen people like, funny, they say this, but it's true. If you put good food in, some of these problems are going to fix themselves. And it's just this, I didn't believe that. Like, I don't know why I didn't, maybe it was growing up poor, or maybe because my idea of like good food was expensive food. So like Hot Pockets were like fancy, and a Hot Pocket is not good food. Like, so there was this weird, so I just didn't believe it when they were like, you just need to eat like this. I was like, psh.
Right.
I would just buy more fancy, expensive food. Like, oh, I just need to spend more. And then I just, when I realized, oh, shit, it is just food.
But they do make it, it's not affordable for everyone to eat healthy. And that's a problem. I think Michelle Obama did a great job at trying to get kids to move and to eat healthy. Because when I was growing up, we didn't have that. And then in the community where I live, we didn't have a Whole Foods. And then when you wanted to go get the produce or the strawberries and different things, it was almost like a privilege. Because it was so costly to eat healthy. And
lots of canned fruits and vegetables. So like always salt added to it and always sugar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like fruit cocktail. How is that? That is not fruit.
No, not all that syrup.
No, those are little sugar. Like the grape has basically dissolved because it is like.
Oh yeah.
So much. Yeah,
Even in school, like for us, it was certain days that we had salads. And then when we did have salads, everyone would rush to get the salads, and then it was first come, first served. So no one else got the salads. So it was like you want us to be healthy, you want us to move, but you don't provide that for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see that every week with Love and Lunches. Like one of our biggest pushes now is to get the right food into the right hands. So, we have a few guys who are diabetic. So we have tried to cater as much as we can given budget constraints and all of that, because all you're doing is like perpetuating like more and more unhealthy. I mean, I do say this also. If you're starving, they're going to eat what, they want whatever it is that they need. They're not going to be like real picky about it in my experience with our friends, but it's so important. And I think that's the thing we miss sometimes in the cannabis community is you can smoke all the weed in the world that you want. However, if you're still consuming empty calories and lots of salts and lots of sugars and not exercising, you're not going to get better, neither physically nor mentally. Do you think that's
Absolutely.
have you seen that as you've been around in the community? Like people think it's the silver bullet, like I'm going to smoke weed and be great.
Something. I try to be as real with myself and with other people as I can.
Yeah.
And because that's the only way you can reach people is if you tell the truth about what's going on. And I'm going to tell you something. I have to work on that. And I tell people to, do the counseling, make sure you're drinking water, make sure that you're staying healthy. But sometimes I forget that.
All of us.
It's not that I forget it. It's just that sometimes life has a way of doing a 1-2 punch. But if you don't build yourself back up and get back up, that's when you're defeated. And so even with myself, even with this last, I spoke to you about the anniversary of my mom's death, September 14th. This time it was very, very hard this year. But I had to kind of regroup and pick myself up. So I have to take care of myself. I have to get into counseling again. All of this takes work. It's not just the cannabis. The cannabis helps, but you got to do the counseling. You got to eat right. You got to make sure that you're having positive influences around you. And those are things that is a daily struggle for myself. But what keeps me going and keeps me, doing better and continuing to work is the people around me who believe in me, the patients who call me and depend on me to answer the phone. So that's what keeps it going. But we all have to kind of get better at that. Especially me. So along with the patients, along with my friends that surround me, we're all working to kind of be better in this, especially these times right now during COVID and disconnected from our families and not always having that personal, that interpersonal connection, but to continue doing like Zoom calls or dual calls or just reaching out and kind of staying connected with each other. That's important.
I think one of the greatest myths that maybe I debunked myself or what I learned, I just kind of thought like the whole goal in life was like perfection. Like every day, I have my miracle morning. So every day I should be able to, I don't know what the words I use, but every day it should be, I follow A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's not how life works. And I think I learned that like, if we're doing 80%, that is, I think, man, you are a high functioning adult. If you're able to manage 80%. And I'm sure 70%. You've been around for a minute. So the more I look at it, the more this has been designed that there's no way we can do the things that society and marketing and businesses tell us we should be able to do and then live. because how do you go to work for 10 hours a day, cook for your family, exercise, meditate,
Laundry.
do all of these things?
Laundry alone takes like 2-3 days for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it. Like, it's like, even for you, like with your business, even doing like marketing and flyers and phone calls and emails, and then you got your home life. You got to go to the grocery store, and you got to go pay bills, and then it's just like, but we strive for that perfection because we feel like it's obtainable. It's almost like that's what society has placed on us. So we're trying to go.
Yep.
And then we forget to breathe sometimes. And that's a struggle for me. That's a struggle for me to get it all. And
you gotta let it go. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
The minute I've just said, every time I stopped having, and I mean, granted, COVID's a little bit different, but like, I stopped inviting people over because the house wasn't perfect in that moment, or the shame you would feel, or I wouldn't do this because of this expectation, or, all these things. And the minute I was just like, my house, sometimes when someone comes over, is going to have dishes in it. And they're going to be dishes from the morning. It's going to be some weird smelling smoothie that you can now smell in the kitchen. And you're either going to love me because I had you over, despite I should be doing dishes right now, but I prioritized our time together. Yeah, something else. I'm done like prioritizing dishes and some ideal of perfection in what the world wants to.
I'm not there yet. I'm still struggling
on
that. Like, I get up in the morning, my bed, I have to make my bed. I think that comes from. But
that still works. I still make my bed. Yeah.
But then I got to go through the whole house. I got to sweep the floor, clean every table. It's kind of like my OCD. Mm-hmm. But now, like, I'm getting to the point where if I don't sweep the floor, it's going to be fine. If I don't wipe the table off by noon, it's going to be okay. And if I don't get out the house by 10 o'clock to, do something, it's okay. And some days I just want to lay in the bed because I'm tired. And that's okay too.
That's what you have to learn. Keeping your house clean is not the question. It's that the moment of is the priority. I'm not going to have a friend who wanted to stop by because I feel shame that I haven't done this. That's where we all have to get, where it is the feelings of the shame and the overwhelmingness that comes to not doing those things.
Even with coming on with you today, I meditated this morning.
Good.
I medicated as well.
Even better.
I was still the anxiety. And I think it was because I was expecting to, we're just talking freely here. Yeah. I don't know what I expected. So,
I don't do a good job of prepping anyone. I'm sure you probably were thinking you're going to have all these hard questions.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, what if I'm not, articulate enough, or what if I,
perfect.
So these expectations we put on ourselves sometimes can hinder us from the most amazing journeys because of our expectations. And sometimes no one's putting those expectations on us but ourselves.
It's very true.
So I'm a work in progress on that.
That
I'm putting these.
When are you turning 40? I feel like that's the key.
Well, I'm 38 right now, so I won't be 40 until about But 30, I feel like
39 were wild years for me, wild. And then once 40 hit,
This year was crazy for me. Well, this year was crazy for everybody, but I learned a lot about myself this year. Learned that it's okay. It's okay to just be sometimes. And I don't have to be perfect. And that the most amazing people that's in my life that have degrees and are doctors or nurses or maybe a higher education than myself, they still love me.
Yeah.
Just for who I am. And I may not be as educated as they are or as smart as they are, but they see so much, potential in me that I had to start to look at myself and I had to stop putting those expectations on me and being afraid to just be myself, and to go to different functions that they invite me to, because I'm understanding that, I'm worthy to be around these people because they, genuinely care about who I am and what I bring to the table. It's evolving. 38 is this year has been very educational for self-education.
That's a nice word to say. It's been educational this year.
It's been educational for me.
It has been a wild ass ride, and we still have weeks left. I saw a funny meme that it was like, a face, and it was like 12, 31, 20, 11, 59. Then it was like 12, 31, 20, 11, 60. And I was like, that is going to be it. The year is just going to go right through into the next one. Patrick, I've really enjoyed chatting with you today. You have and I did want to say this. Don't sell yourself short. I feel like you and I come from a very similar background and have very similar experiences. When you said the thing like around people who have college degrees, like I don't have a college degree, and I used to get real small around people who went to college. And one day I realized, unless you're like a doctor or doing something, you can learn on the internet. And just because you went to school doesn't mean you're the smartest, and I'm not. And smart has nothing to do with that. And so I stopped playing small because people would ask me where I went to school, and I now proudly tell them University of Maryland for 2 years. And I now learned everything myself. So don't let that ever stop you. In fact, I feel like we're the smart ones. We don't have debt.
Everything that I've done and I've learned to do, I've done it. I've rose to the occasion. And like I've done 2 years of University of Phoenix. I sure did.
There we go.
But the one thing about life is every day that you wake up and you have the breath in your body, you can start over, do it again. You can learn new things. Yep. And with cannabis and with counseling and building good relationships and meditating, the world can be a great place as long as you do the work, And so I'm continuing to do the work, but also sharing just whatever I've learned and getting people to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Because one thing that I like that you bring to the table is so much education about even expunging your record. A lot of people don't even know where to go to get that. But if they look at your page, you have all of that there. And you bring people to the table that can educate us, educate cannabis industry on what to do in legal situations, mental health situations, and that's important. Your platform is great, and I love that you do that.
Thank you.
And I've been following you from the beginning.
I know you have.
Career, and it's been amazing. You've taught me so much, and I continue to learn from you. So I want to say thank you.
Oh, Patrick, you're the sweetest. Really. I mean, it's been a pleasure even watching what you've done over the course of these last few years. Even with your focus on education, our entire job is to make it easily digestible for people to understand, because their whole goal is to make it confusing, to get your case expunged, to make it confusing who you're supposed to contact. And so I appreciate hearing that, because that is like a big focus of mine, is to figure out how to do these things. And maybe it's like the trainer in me. That's what I did way before I got into cannabis and my career before that. And maybe that's what it is. Like, I can break these down for people to do the work, to figure it out, instead of them reading pages. I mean, it took me probably 5 weeks to really feel confident that this was the process to getting your stuff expunged in Maryland. And even then, I sent it to a bunch of attorneys and a bunch of friends, like, could you review this? Can you imagine if you're a person who's been beat down because you have this charge?
Absolutely.
What I've been told from people who've been on the show and other friends is like, it becomes you. This charge is like, you're not just Patrick, you're Patrick with this. And so your drive to even wade through all that shit is not there because they succeeded.
Yeah.
They
And
beat you down enough. Yeah.
A lot of people I don't understand that legal mumbo jumbo. I don't. Yeah. And then sometimes I'm impatient. So to have to read through all of that, and then my attention is my attention sometimes it drifts off to something else. But if
I'm with you.
Through all that and you don't understand it, and then you're reading it over and over and over and over again, you still don't understand it. It gets frustrating, and then you give up. And so to have resources where you can go and it's a clear direction, or even people who can help you, that's what they need. And so I'm going to make sure that I do my part as well.
Good.
And sharing this information to the community and to people I know as well. Because there's so many people who just talk to me in the street. If I'm walking by and I'm saying what I do, they're like, well, how do I do this and how do I do that? But they're not watching TV. Maybe they don't have internet. And so these resources, these places, and people like you are very important to the community, because some people can't fight that big entity called the legal system.
Yep.
I couldn't the first time or the second time. Or the second time. So,
it's just meant to be that way. That's everything I've learned. Yeah. Well, Patrick, I'll put all your business contact information in the notes. Like, I really did enjoy this conversation today and you sharing with us. Of course. Like, I'm kind of thinking I'd love to do, like, get 5 or 6 people together and us do some kind of panel talking about something. Like, I've never done that before. So look, maybe that will be something that's coming soon.
I will provide cocktails.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
Infused cocktails.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me what twice. Well, have an amazing day, Patrick, and I'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.